Welcome to Heart Echo Channel, where unseen kindness finds its voice. Winter had swallowed the city whole, wrapping it in a blanket of icy air. The festive Christmas lights, meant to spread cheer, only seemed to cast longer, darker shadows on the streets below. In one of those shadows, Linda Thompson walked home. The grocery bags in her arms were thin, but the worries on her heart were much, much heavier. Every night, she listened to her son Eli coughing, the sound echoing in their small, cold apartment. The heater had given up a week ago, another casualty in their quiet battle for survival. The blanket on Eli's bed was a patchwork of repairs, a testament to her efforts to mend a life that kept tearing at the seams. Just one more paycheck, she'd whisper into the cold air, a prayer carried away by the wind. It was the mantra that got her through each day, each freezing night. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, a department store was taking its final breaths. The once bustling aisles were now quiet, the lights flickered with uncertainty, and the air hung heavy with the scent of defeat. Low sales had sealed its fate. The closure had been approved. It was just a matter of time. Mason Reeves, the CEO of the corporation that owned the store, arrived for a final inspection disguised as a regular employee. To him, this place was just another line item on a spreadsheet, another set of numbers that didn't add up. He was there to confirm the inevitable, to close a chapter and move on. But then, he noticed her Linda. She moved through the store with a quiet grace, a ghost in the failing machine. He saw her helping an elderly customer reach a high shelf, her smile genuine and warm. He saw her sharing half of her meager lunch with a new stock boy who'd forgotten his. He even saw her in the break room, a needle and thread in hand, carefully mending a tear in another employee's worn-out coat. She did all of this without a word of complaint, without expecting anything in return. She simply gave what little she had. Mason, the man of numbers and profits, found himself watching, confused. Her actions didn't fit into any business model he knew. They were inefficient, yet they were undeniably powerful. He started to see the store not as a failing business but as a community, a fragile ecosystem held together by people like Linda. The numbers on his spreadsheet began to feel cold and hollow, completely missing the human element he was witnessing firsthand. One night, long after the last customer had gone home, Mason was in the back office reviewing the final closure documents. The fluorescent lights hummed, the only sound in the cavernous building. Suddenly, a soft knock broke the silence. He looked up to see Linda standing in the doorway, her figure framed by the dim light of the hallway. She looked tired, but her eyes held a steady resolve. She didn't look angry or defeated. She just looked like a mother. She spoke softly, her voice barely above a whisper, but every word landed with the weight of a stone. "Please," she said, "please don't close the store. It's not just a job for us. It's everything." She took a small breath. "My son, he needs another blanket for the winter." There were no tears, no dramatic begging, just the raw, unvarnished truth of her desperation. In that moment, something inside Mason, something he thought had been frozen over for years, cracked. It wasn't about a blanket, it was about dignity, about survival, about a mother's simple, powerful love. The numbers, the profit margins, the corporate strategy all faded away, replaced by the face of this woman and the thought of her cold, coughing son. The news came as a shock to everyone. The store wasn't closing. In fact, it was getting a new investment. But the changes didn't stop there. One day, a letter arrived for Linda. It was a full scholarship to a local nursing program, her long-forgotten dream. Anonymous donations began to cover Eli's medical bills, and a specialist was arranged to see him. A package appeared on their doorstep, containing new winter coats, boots, and a pair of warm gloves for Eli, with a small, unsigned note tucked inside. It simply read, "Some people work miracles without capes." From a distance, from his high-rise office, Mason watched. He saw Linda studying late into the night, saw Eli running in the park, his laughter no longer punctuated by coughs. He watched, and he remembered. He remembered his own childhood, the biting cold of a home without enough heat, the thin blanket that never seemed to be enough. He wasn't just saving a store, he was rewriting his own past, offering the help he himself had once so desperately needed. A year passed. The department store was transformed. It was no longer just a place to shop. It became a hub for the community, hosting workshops, local events, and even a small daycare. It was thriving, not just financially, but with a newfound heart. Linda, now a qualified nurse, walked with a new confidence. Her compassion, now her profession. Eli slept soundly every night, warm and healthy. And Mason Reeves, he quietly stepped down as CEO. He'd found something more valuable than power, purpose. He began dedicating his time and resources to a foundation that helped struggling families,